All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience as we got loaded up here. Donovan Hylton, your brand building partner and your leadership coach, ultimately helping you spread your message, helping you to change and ensure a perception that is going to increase your customer base, generate leads, increase your presence and or community buy-in, be it with a individual or a business group, uh, community group, or civics organization or agency, if you will. And so today we're talking about, of course, marketing, and something that really early in my career, I didn't know exactly the science behind it. I knew the art, but not the science. And what I mean by that is when it came to marketing, it was all raw talent on my end. I had a natural knack to build relationships, manage relationships, bridge gaps. And so I found myself in positions either through in my career or community service and positions of business development, nonprofit development, or community engagement. And that was because I was able to help build and maintain relationships with sources that were able to generate leads or generate opportunities. And I was able to take my skill set and really provide it to specifically, eventually, employers, career training organizations, with real estate developers, with elected officials and government agencies, and businesses that wanted to connect with the new market segment. And my skills were providing these services, if you will, in urban areas, which was ideal, if you will, or something that was advantageous for corporations, again, that wanted to connect with community residents or vice versa, be it for jobs, real estate relations, uh, civics, whatever have you. And so ultimately there's a process to this, and I want just to break that process down. I felt like this article by Skyword would be a good fit for us to use, and this is respectfully outdated. Over, you know, 2020 when this article came out, we have artificial intelligence now, respectfully, and that has definitely changed the game. And I wanted to review this article in conjunction with, where we are with technology. And so if you hadn't had a chance, thank you for following, subscribing, smashing that like bell, sharing this content with your friends to continue to grow this platform. Thank you for, yeah, pretty much growing the platform. Outside of that, I'm on a few different platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the minimum. So I'm looking all over the place in various cameras. So thank you for your patience on that. And let's get started. So again, I want to shout out Skyword. I'm not respectful, not familiar with Skyword, but when it comes to marketing, this is content that will attract opportunities for Skyword from or by individuals like myself. For whatever reason, it doesn't. Everyone's message does not resonate with everyone, but in the line of work that I do, a marketing funnel is something that is of interest to me. And so someone like myself would connect with Skyward through this inbound form of marketing. And hopefully they jump into that in the conversation, but ultimately it's good information. And so because of the information and what they're providing, it makes me want to look at the brand, which is Skyward. So huge shout out to Skyward for putting this together. We definitely want to make sure that we spread the love. And you want to go to skyword.com for more information about our friends at Skyward. So let's jump right into the article. Here we go. Okay. There is a lot of debate surrounding the marketing funnel. So if you don't know, commercial break me, please. Shout out to my friend Joe T. Baker III. That's J as in Joe, T as in Tom, B as in Baker, numerical number 3. So jtb3.org. Shout out to my friend Joe T. Baker III. You can find him at jtb3.org. Has an awesome story of perseverance And when he shares his story and he wants to pause to share his personal thoughts to the story, he says, "Commercial break me, please." So I've been inspired by my friend Joe T. Baker. Don't know where he got "Commercial break me, please," but because I'm using it, I want to make sure I recognize where I got it from. And when you get a chance, check out my friend Joe T. Baker III. But "Commercial break me, please." Marketing funnel. So if you're just starting a business, you're looking to, sell a product that's a hobby of yours, or sell a service that's a hobby of yours. There's this thing when it comes to awareness and getting people to know about, your work. This thing called a marketing funnel, and that's pretty much what we're jumping into. Back to the article. I'm gonna start from the top. There was a lot of debate surrounding the marketing funnel, from who owns it, be it marketing or sales, to whether or not it's still relevant to today's consumers' buying process. I like where we're going so far. Here, we'll explain what you need to know about the marketing funnel and dive into recent changes and rising challenges for marketers. I'll compare B2C and B2B uses of the funnel, break down the hype around the marketing versus the sales ownership debate, explain how the funnel can be flipped to create more leads, and explore non-linear approaches to the funnel. Commercial break me, please. For those that don't know, B2C is business to consumer, and B2B is business to business, meaning a business may sell to consumers, which is the everyday individual like myself, or business may sell to another business. For example, business to consumer is a retail company selling clothes to a shopper, to an individual walking into the store. That's business to consumer, if you will. Business to business is a manufacturing company that makes bolts, and they want to sell these bolts to other manufacturing companies that make cars. So they wouldn't sell bolts to the same person that's going into the retail store to buy clothes, just like the retail store wouldn't sell clothes to a manufacturing company that makes cars, if that makes sense. So you have business to business, you have business to consumer. Back to the article. First, let's establish a base framework for the funnel so we can better address these issues. What is the funnel? The marketing funnel is a visualization for understanding the process of turning leads into customers, as understood from a marketing and sales perspective. The idea is that, like a funnel, marketers cast a broad net to capture as many leads as possible, then slowly nurture prospective customers through the purchasing decision, narrowing down these candidates in each stage of the funnel. So if you don't know these things already, commercial break me, please. If you don't even know that aspect or that process, this is why I'm bringing this article to the table, so that you can know that there's levels to this, that there are phases to this. And as you get to know the levels and the phases, you can apply artificial intelligence to help you out, if that makes sense. Moving on. Ideally, this marketing funnel would actually be a marketing cylinder. And there's a commercial break me, please. There's a hyperlink to marketing cylinder here if you want to click the article, but I'm going to see if I can just, I can't find, I want to see if I can look it up, but we're going to move on. Back to the article. I'll start from the top of the last sentence. Ideally, this marketing funnel would actually be a marketing cylinder, and all of your leads would turn into customers. Though this is not a reality for businesses, it is part of a marketer's job to turn as many leads into customers as possible, thus making the funnel more cylindrical. Cylindrical. Bear with me. Cylindrical. Let me stop while I'm ahead. Ideally, it's important to note that there is not a single agreed upon version of the funnel. Some have many stages, while others have few, with different names and actions taken by the business and consumer for each. In the diagram below, we've done our best to put out the most common and relevant funnel stages, terms, and actions so this information is useful to as many marketers as possible. Commercial break me, please. And I want to shout out for putting out the disclaimer that there are many types of marketing funnels and many different terms, and they tried their best to put a generalization of the funnel and the terms together for us. Big shout out and thank you. Back to the article, marketing funnel stages and conversions. I'll take you through the funnel stage by stage so you have a full understanding of how it works. Commercial break me, please. All right, here we go. Marketing funnel. So we're going to look at the diagram real quick, the marketing funnel diagram. We definitely see ultimately 3 phases of the funnel. You have the lead generation, which includes your awareness. You have lead nurture, which includes building interest, building consideration, and from consideration, you're blending and going into sales, which jumps into intent, evaluation, and purpose. And so at the minimum, I'm glad we're touching on this because I just want you to save time. I want you to save money. I want you to have peace of mind. And when we are out there and we have something that we advocate for a service or product, for example, you know that the banana splits that you make are just off the chain, and you make these dynamite banana splits. But in that, you need help. You start a business, and now you want to increase your customer base. You know how to make banana splits, but you don't know what they call generate leads. And if you didn't know, there's a funnel that you can take advantage of and be aware of that will help you from the awareness process of the fact that your banana splits exist all the way to the point of where people purchase those banana splits. And if you have a great system of awareness to purchase of banana splits, then you eventually can go into what a business calls scaling, which is basically making sure that you have a process down, and now you're growing with now you're growing your customer base because you're scaling, you're adding more, you're multiplying ultimately. I want to give a huge shout out to Coach Andre Smith, who just joined us. Coach Andre Smith, if you don't know, please check out my recent interview with Coach Andre Smith. I'm going to pull it up on YouTube real quick. Coach Andre Smith, if you don't mind me saying, Coach, giving out your business a little bit, a professional basketball coach internationally, and currently is the head coach for a JUCO. I'm going to have you look at what JUCO stands for, JUCO, for a national JUCO college men's basketball program in Southern California. And Coach Andre Smith also operates a high school preparatory basketball school. And so done a lot of great work. I'm going to put this up. Y'all give me a second. Let me go ahead and find this. When you get a chance, go to my YouTube channel, LDH Podcast. L as in Lord, D as in Donovan, H as in Hilton. LDH Podcast, and you want to subscribe. Fun fact, I'm a registered Lord of Glencoe in the country of Scotland. It's another conversation. I can put up my 5-minute explainer video breaking that down. And so I'm a registered Lord. Lord, respectfully, not being faith-based at all, dealing with faith-based situations. Lord of the United Kingdom, simply meaning that you are a owner of land as well as a master or a professional in your career or in your skills. And so that's another conversation. But LDH Podcast, and when you want to go to the video that says how Coach Andre built a national championship program and fought for his health. I want you to check out that interview, 40-minute interview, touching. It's going to inspire you. And more importantly, if you're able to support Coach Andre and what he's doing, there's information to get in contact with him. So huge shout out to Coach Andre Smith. Thank you for joining us. I'm in a commercial break. Thank you for your patience. And we're jumping back in. So right now we're talking about, especially for those that have a great product or service and they want to get that product or service out to maximize their opportunities. If you did not know, there is a science to awareness. There's a science to marketing. I started off with the art of marketing with my natural skill sets, but as I got deeper into what I was doing and running a business, I had to learn the science of spreading awareness. And in the science of spreading awareness, there is a tool called a marketing funnel. And in the marketing funnel, you're able to, like a funnel, cast a wide net and work your way to a point where that wide net becomes narrow and you are now getting paying customers. And that's through a marketing funnel. And that's why we took time to review Skyword's article on marketing funnel so that we as individuals can know how to generate leads, opportunities, sales, sponsorships, advertisements, what that looks like, the steps that go into it. And now with artificial intelligence, we're able to use artificial intelligence to complement the marketing funnel. So I just want to make sure we're aware of the marketing funnel and know that we can always go back to the marketing funnel for our needs to increase our customer base or our presence in the community. So real quick, let's jump back into the funnel. In the lead generation stage, marketing campaigns and consumer research. So ultimately, when the lead generation, and when we're talking about generating leads, we want to create awareness. At this point, we're doing research. We're trying to find out who we're targeting, who needs the service or product, and everything else in between. Then we're also going to start working on generating our leads by putting ourselves in a position to connect with those targeted prospects. Now, these are terms that we're jumping into. Some of the ways that we can we can reach our targeted prospects, not just prospects, but we got to know who we're targeting, what niche we're doing, and who is a body of individuals or groups that are looking for our services. And the way that we are generating our leads are through events. You're going to networking events, you're going to trade shows, you're going anywhere where your customers base would be. You're advertising online. You can advertise with a yard sign. I'm going to say yard sign if you're familiar with like campaign season where people are, running for office looking to be elected and they put those little signs in people's yards. I call them yard signs, but you can place those yard signs in strategic geographical locations where your customer base may be. And that yard sign, if it's legally able to be put in place, is kind of like a entity working for you 24/7 as people are driving by. So you have the yard signs, you have billboards, but you also have digital advertising, which is with the right targeting is extremely powerful. Then you're also creating webinars or seminars to basically explain or share your skills. This is an indirect webinar that I'm doing right now. Social media marketing, you're doing search engines. So there's various ways to start getting the word out about what your service is. Now, I do want to point out in this area here, these awareness strategies, to me, for the most part, these are more outbound marketing strategies where you are I take that back. Events is outbound. Advertising is more inbound. Trade shows is outbound. Blogs are inbound. Webinars are inbound. Direct mail, outbound. Social media could be outbound and considered inbound at the same time. And what I mean by inbound is you're creating magnets is the word. You're creating magnets or little nuggets that for free that people can gravitate to, get a little bit of great information, and then what then entices them to find out more about your work. So, for example, you want to get them to a place where they can find out more about your work using magnets. So, for example, this blog, which is one of the advertising or awareness strategies, this blog that we're reading is a simple way for inbound marketing, meaning Skyword wrote an article that was of interest to their prospective customers, if you will, wrote an article for someone like me to say, hey, you know what? I need to read this so I can learn something. And then as I read it, I look up and say, well, let me see what Skyword's all about. That's who put the article together. The next thing you know, you have people going from awareness into that lead nurturing phase, which is interest. And once that interest is set, it's now I'm considering, everything. And so the process is real. Let's jump into lead nurture and interest. I don't want to take too much time on this, but we have more article to read. But I'm looking to break down the funnel real quick. And I know as we read through the article, the breakdown is probably there. But so I'll just stop at the awareness aspect of the article as far as the picture goes. And if you're on Instagram, I'm not able to turn my screen around for you so you can look at the screen. I think that's kind of a violation of policy. And so what I'm doing right now is just having the camera face me, so you're able to at least get some kind of free information, But if you want to see the actual article, if you're on Instagram, I will try my best to leave the link in the comments or the description. But in addition to that, you can go to the LDH Advising on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, or you can go on LinkedIn, Danavan Hylton, and it's the video, where you can see the screen sharing and all that. So just a heads up for the Instagram folks. Thank you all for following. So we'll leave it there because we can break it down from my perspective as much as possible, but we want to keep it Skyword. Huge shout outs. We're going to continue on with the article. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts about what I'm speaking on right now, or you want me to elaborate more, please send me a direct message, or you can put what you have in the comments or in the chat here, and I'll try my best either now or in the future to break things down in more detail. Moving on, awareness. Awareness is the uppermost stage of the marketing funnel. Potential customers are drawn into this stage through marketing campaigns and consumer research and discovery. Commercial break me, please. I want to say when I read this last part of the sentence, consumer research and discovery, I think of Excel spreadsheets. Because at one point, I started doing my research and discovery by using Google Maps. I do a lot of territory marketing. So using Google Maps and I do a lot of business to business as well. So using Google Maps, targeting businesses and putting these businesses, contact information, and all that stuff on spreadsheets back in the day. I still do it, but there's so many platforms we can use. And so I think I may have come up with an article in the past or a blog or video vlog about research and discovery and putting your Excel and all it together. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. If not, you want me to break it down in more detail, put in the comments or DMs, and I'll do that. Moving forward, trust and thought leadership is established with events, advertising, trade shows, contents, which include blog posts, infographics, etc., webinars, direct mail, viral campaigns, social media, search, media mentions, and more. Here, lead generation takes place as information is collected and leads are pulled into a lead management system for nurturing further down the funnel. Good stuff so far. Interest. Once leads are generated, they move on to the interest stage, where they learn more about the company, its products, and any helpful information and research it provides. Here is an opportunity for brands to develop a relationship with the people in its lead database and introduce its positioning. Marketers can nurture leads through emails, content that is more targeted around industries and brands, classes, newsletters, and more. And I'm going to commercial break me, please. Do not sleep or dismiss emails. Because again, we're just trying to generate and then go into the nurture for interest. There's so many ways to do that. Please do not dismiss emails. Please do not dismiss hosting classes or educational sessions, please do not sleep on newsletters, to include email newsletters or electronic newsletters. These are very effective ways to get your awareness out. I want to shout out my man Jay Smooth. He just joined. Jay Smooth, my guy, if you get a chance and you are in the Inland Empire area, the 2025-2026 semi-professional American Basketball Association season is starting, and Jay Smooth is one of the leading talents for the nationally ranked number 10 Inland Empire Hounds, who had a very good shot of making it to the championships in St. Louis, I believe, last year, 2024-2025 season. 2025-2026, they're coming in hot. They won't be playing with you. And my man Jay Smooth is someone that is helping to lead that charge. Check him out on Instagram, JDA Smooth 1_. If you want to connect with him and advertise your brand, your message through JD Smooth or through Jay Smooth, who has a huge and growing following and very respected on the basketball court. So again, if you want to connect with the top talent, you can reach out to me and I'll connect you with these folks, or you can, I'm shouting it out early, JDA Smooth, and Smooth being SMOOV, numerical number 1_. Again, just reach out to me and I'll connect you. Thank you so much for the love and support. Jay Smooth, look forward to checking you out this season, as I'm a fan of your work. And so thank you all for your patience again. And for those that are jumping in, we're talking about a marketing funnel. If you didn't know a marketing funnel existed, there is a funnel that exists that helps you create awareness all the way to helping you get sales. And it's done through a funnel. And I want to make sure that everyone here, oh, for sure, Jay Smooth, you already know. I want to make sure everyone here knows that you can save time and money by learning and mastering the marketing funnel. And now you can make even more money and save even more time using artificial intelligence, ChatGPT at the minimum, while using your marketing funnel. So I want to make sure that we're all mastering maximum dollars, maximum awareness, maximum relationships. And so we're going through this marketing funnel created by Skyword. And before we move on, I want to really just point out a few things that really have taken my work to the next level and really people do not want to dismiss. Being a brand builder, we have to know that you yourself and what you represent is a brand. I'm going to use Jay Smooth respectfully as an example. Jay Smooth represents a brand, which is the Inland Empire Hounds, which represents a brand, which is the American Basketball Association. But Jay Smooth in itself is a brand. Jay Smooth, for example, could say, hey, I'm a basketball player for this semi-professional basketball team, but I also have contract deals with businesses and advertisers. I go speak at various schools, maybe incarceration facilities, and I do a lot of community service work. That's a brand, you know, that Jay Smooth can use to either increase the awareness of his existence or increase his revenue. And I'll use Shedeur Sanders, if I'm not speaking out of ignorance, as an example. I was watching or reading a video earlier where Shedeur Sanders is taking his contract and pioneering his contract because he's recognizing that he is a brand. And so he has revamped, or there was clauses in the contract that allowed him as his own brand to make money with the team that drafted him. And he's getting a percentage of the equity cuts in certain deals and in the media because he recognized that his brand was large enough to complement a brand that's already working with him, and he was able to leverage. And so I want us all to be mindful of a brand. If you guys want to jump into branding and brands in more detail, we can definitely put that in the comments or DMs. We'll talk about that more. I actually have a good conversation on my podcast coming up with a marketing expert about branding, and that's going to be coming out in a few weeks or less. And also, I want to highlight here, develop a relationship or develop relationships, especially with the people in the lead database. And that's what took what I do, it takes what I do, it takes what I do to the next level. And why I've been able to work with so many different clients is because I have a skill of in-person representation. I have a skill of developing relationships either on the phone, through email, or in person to help take what you're doing to the next level. And that is a skill because at the end of the day, you can market all you want, but at the end of the day, you're still dealing with people. At the end of the day, you're still selling to be people. At the end of the day, people are buying from you. So you have to know and learn the arts of people skills. I've had a whole, I've done multiple conversations on people skills. Let's go. So this is LDH podcast. Make sure you guys are liking and following on YouTube. Let's go to LDH Advising. And I think I did a free video on here live, LDH Advising. Make sure you're following so you can continue to keep this content going. I think I did a live way back when. Let's see. I don't want to take too much time. I don't want to take too much time. Okay, so for example, we can go to click on Daily Insights with Lord Danavan Hylton. There's a video, a live that I did called Interpersonal Skills That Set Leaders Apart. You can check that out for more details about people skills. Check out my video. I'll see if I can leave the link in the description or the comments. It's called it's another daily insight, interpersonal skills that sets leaders apart. And there's another live that I did. How to get more clients. Network like how to network like a CEO, even if you're an introvert. That's another live that I did. That would be good on people skills. How to speak with confidence and command the room. That's another good article or video on people skills that I provide. I don't want to take too much time. Yeah, so we'll leave it there. But there's plenty of articles. You guys can see it here. But we're going to move back. People skills. I just don't want y'all to dismiss the fact people skills. And when I say people skills, not only in business but also in your personal life, with your immediate family, with your spouse, your boyfriend, your significant other. People skills. And the last thing I want to throw out in this last article paragraph before we move on is positioning. And positioning, I think, is something that's understated. And when you're able to build people skills, when you're able to provide interest through awareness, you're actually positioning yourself to really command space. And the more space you command and the more fruit. So for example, I'm gonna use this analogy. An apple tree. And let's say these apples fall from the tree. Now let's say under the apple tree, you can buy pieces of land under the apple tree. So if the apple falls on the piece of land or that you own, that apple becomes yours. And let's say that the space is 12 inches by 12 inches, space. So, and there's 144 square feet. We'll say that. Meaning the more 12 by 12s that you buy, the more space you're going to own, which means the more apples that fall into your space, the more apples you can keep. And that's because of your positioning, your spacing. And if you're familiar with basketball and getting a rebound, you don't have to necessarily be the highest jumper. You don't necessarily have to be the strongest. But if you position yourself in a box out form to get the rebound and someone violates, that situation by jumping over your back or whatever because you were in position, guess what? You're still awarded the advantage because of positioning. So 3 things I just want to throw out in the interest phase was branding and brands, 2, developing people skills, and 3, positioning. We don't want to dismiss those. I feel like I'm taking too long on this article. Oh man, I hope we can, But it's good stuff here. It's good stuff. So I want us to really go through this together and take what we can out of it. Moving on, consideration. In the consideration stage, leads have been changed into marketing qualified leads and are seen as prospective customers. What does that mean? Commercial break me, please. You have people that are going to sign or submit or complete the interest form. I'm interested. Here's the form that I submitted and completed. Once they submit or complete the form, or once you call them to make a discovery call to find out more about them, at that point, you are going to see if that lead is qualified to do business with you, because you have certain expectations and qualifications that you need to ensure that you can stay in business, or, if that makes sense. So you know your target audience, you know the type of target audience or customer that you're looking for. So when someone reaches out and says, hey, I'm interested, you have to find out if they're a good fit for you, and vice versa. That's qualified leads. There are automated ways to qualify a lead that does not require you to engage. So if you want those skills and how to do that, that's what I'm here for. A lot of times I try to provide free information like this on how to do it. So if you want to talk a little more about qualifying leads, put it in the comments or send me a direct message, and maybe I can find an article to review with you on the house. If not, I do have fees that I do charge to get into more detail with you. But moving on, marketers can send prospects more information about products and offers through automated email campaigns, while continuing to nurture them with targeted content, case studies, free trials, and more. Targeted content, case studies, free trials are all that I use, all that I suggest to my clients as well. Moving on. Commercial break me, please. Moving on. Intent. To get into the intent stage, prospects must demonstrate that they are interested in buying a brand's product. This can happen in a survey, after a product demo, or when a product is placed in the shopping cart on an e-commerce website. This is an opportunity for marketers to make a strong case for why their product is the best choice for a buyer. Intent. This is very good information. A demonstration is so important, especially in the consideration phase, because they're like, I like what I see, I like what I'm hearing, still want to make sure it's a good fit. So a lot of individuals might say, okay, well, here's a 1 week, a 1 day to X amount of week trial on the house for you. And so, or someone might create a case study, which I do all the time for myself and my clients, a case study that basically shares your experience with the situation and the results that came out of it, if you will. So a case study is a way to give answers to questions before they're asked, if you will. The more questions you're able to ask, the more answers you're able to give before the question is asked, the more trust is built, because the consumer is thinking, okay, this person knows what they're doing, because if they did, they would possibly have all the questions answered before I have to ask them. If that makes sense. That's one way to build trust. Moving on, evaluation. In the evaluation stage, buyers are making a final decision about whether or not to buy a brand's product or service. Typically, marketing and sales work together closely to nurture the decision-making process and convince the buyer that their brand's product is the best choice. I want to share something, but I want to get through the article, so I'm going to move on. I'll share it. I was once an admissions representative for a career college, and 2 years or less later, I became the director of admissions for that career college. And I didn't have a college degree. And the people that were admissions representatives and ended up becoming a part of a team that I was leading as admissions representatives, the college degrees. And not to get too much off track, I'll never forget when the campus director and the regional admissions director gave me the job. They said, Don, we gave you the job because you were working at an admissions director of admissions level without getting paid for it. Now, granted, they probably paid me less than what the other talent could have charged them or whatever, but I didn't have a degree, and my story was so unique that it was an opportunity for me to grow my skill. And they kind of knew that because they knew with the director position under your belt, you could take that somewhere else. So I didn't get paid as much. I'm thinking now that I'm more aware of how this works, but ultimately, I was able to, get that position. But the point is, during that experience, the former director of admissions, I don't know where he got the source from, but said 87% of the people that receive a cold call or a cold outreach, 87% of the people usually go with the company that reaches out to them first. Meaning at the time when career colleges were really hot, a hot industry and trend, and career colleges were calling leads that people filled out, forms, 87% of the people usually enrolled or signed up with the career college that reached out to them first. And back in those days, that's why it was important for telemarketing. You used to get on the phone and make calls. So we can try to reach you first. And if you have the people skills, 9 times out of 10, the person that you reached out to, the prospect, will have scheduled an appointment to stop by and do a tour. And when the next career college called them to do a tour or to reach out to qualify that lead, the person, before they even went to the career college, their first career college, when they got a call from another career college, they might say, "Oh no, I'm going to go to this school. I'm good." And knowing that that person has not went to the career college yet, hadn't talked to anybody, they just they filled out a form and had a conversation over the phone. But because if you have those good people skills, people will automatically start shifting their mind towards you. And so bringing it back to the conversation, um, I want to bring it up because it said the decision maker, it says here, typically the marketing and sales work together to nurture the decision-making process and convince the buyer that their brand's product is the best choice. So convincing someone that their product or brand is the best choice is good when you have good people skills. And if you're able to leave someone with a good feeling and a good idea of what you're offering, which is branding, they're going to probably be your first choice. So that way, when other people call in, they're going to say, "Oh no, I'm going with these folks," even though they hadn't met with you yet. But that's how powerful that is. Moving on, purchase. You're here. This is the last stage in the marketing funnel where a prospect has made the decision to buy and turn into a customer. This is where sales takes care of the purchase transaction. A positive experience on the part of the buyer can lead to referrals that fuel the top of the marketing funnel, and the process begins. So commercial break me, please. Let me just break this down real quick as far as the awareness to purchase and why marketing and sales work together. So 9 times out of 10, the awareness all the way to the intent. Yeah, that's why here. Buyer gets product demo. From awareness to intent is usually marketing. That's where people just create awareness. And that could be through the various strategies, digital, in-person conversations, telemarketing, um, digital being email marketing, social media marketing, uh, direct mail. All that is marketing, creating awareness. But at some point, someone's going to want to talk to someone, get details, and see if they want to spend dollars. That goes into the intent, evaluation, and process, and that's more of sales because you might have someone that's good at social media marketing, but they might not be good at talking with someone and answering questions and providing a demonstration. And that's where you have a skilled person with sales. You have skilled person with marketing, you got skilled technology with marketing, and you have skilled situations with sales. And so what makes my type of work, what makes me so unique is I'm skilled in marketing and sales. So I can go from the awareness all the way to the purchase for myself or my clients. What I do more specifically is called relational sales, if you will. And it's in its most mundane form. Let's see if I can put it in. Relational sales. Relationship, also known as relationship selling. Relationship selling does not end after the customer makes the purchase or signs the contract. You should continue to check in. That's not what I'm looking for. Relational sales. I can't find it. Okay. I'm just trying to see if I can find a clear sentence. But I tell you what, you look it up, relational sales, or relationship marketing. It's pretty much the same thing. But that's what I bring to the table when you're able to do the awareness into the sale. Moving on. The marketing funnel, as we saw, B2B, B2C, looking at B2C, business to consumer. That could be an individual going to a customer. It could be, for example, a gas station, B2C, an individual going in to pay for their gas, which is B2C. But you might have a B2B, which is a business going to that same gas station and trying to see if that gas station is open to allowing the business to put their chips in the store. So that's B2B. Moving on, key differences between B2B to B2C. Key differences between B2C and B2B marketing funnels. Most B2C consumers navigate the funnel alone or with a small group of trusted advisors, usually family or friends, while B2B consumers typically have a larger cross-departmental buying group. The average B2B buying group is 5.4 people. So in B2B, there's a chain of people you talk with. Compared to B2C, you might talk to the individual directly or a family or friend. But for B2B, you're talking to various departments, department heads, and all that good stuff. So again, people skills is so important. B2C consumers, moving on, may never directly interact with the company representative, especially on e-commerce websites, while B2B consumers typically interact with a sales representative in the lower end of the funnel. Nonlinear funnels. Some experts argue that the marketing funnel is no longer relevant because the buying process is no longer linear. Leads are coming into the funnel at different stages. Sometimes this happens because they are referred and already know they want to buy a brand's product, so they jump in at the intent stage. It also might happen because they have pursued their own education and jump in an interest or consideration. Excuse me, repeat that again and slow down. It also might happen because they have purchased their own education and jump in at interest or consideration. As access to information has increased due to technological advances, meaning the rise of the internet, customers are increasingly doing their own research and deepening on, I'm horrible reading right now. Customers are increasingly doing their own research and depending on digital content to inform them about products. In fact, CEB reports that B2B customers are traversing 57% of the funnel on their own before encountering a sales rep, meaning 57% of the people are doing awareness, interest, and consideration more than likely on their own. And then the intent, evaluation, and purchase, that's when a sales rep comes in. One alternative to the marketing funnel is McKinsey's consumer decision journey, which employs a circular model to show how the buying process fuels itself and to highlight pivots or touch points. So here we go again. McKinsey is one of the top 4 or big 4 consulting management firms in the world. So they definitely know what they're talking about. I'll leave that with you. Take a look at. We're wrapping up here, y'all. However, some experts also doubt this approach. Brands may put the decision at the center of the journey, but customers don't, write Mark Bonchek and Kara France in a Harvard Business Review article. There still isn't a perfect model, so both the customer decision journey and the marketing funnel will continue to be used by marketers and are therefore still relevant. Marketing versus sales, owning the funnel. There is a heated debate happening in the marketing and sales world over who exactly owns the funnel. One side argues that as consumers have become more dependent on digital content to inform their purchasing decisions, marketers have taken on more responsibility for the funnel as they continue to nurture prospects through the purchasing process. Take a look at the diagram below to see how marketing and sales ownership of the funnel has changed. So the left side is the old way, the right side is the new way of the marketing funnel. So back in the day, marketing was done in the marketing funnel. Marketing handled the awareness and the interest. and sales was done from consideration to purchase. But now, kind of what we were talking about a few seconds ago, marketing now, which doesn't really have to deal with people like that, goes all the way to from awareness to intent, where sales, when you're dealing with people, now goes from evaluation to purchase. If that makes sense. However, there are even some who see the funnel as being split vertically, both with both sales and marketing owning the full funnel. They argue that the salespeople are increasingly becoming thought leaders to drive awareness by doing outbound outreach. In this scenario, both marketing and sales would work to nurture leads and prospects from awareness to purchase. Commercial break me, please. If you want me to jump more into, which I don't want us to dismiss, thought leaders. If you're looking to really position yourself in your industry, in your market, in your territory, you need to become a thought leader, which is what I'm doing right now. And I'm using this article as a way to share my insight and my expertise. I do a lot of case studies, a lot of webinars, and things of that nature, which I have to create, but using someone else's work, respectfully Skyword, and reviewing what they're doing and sharing my 2 cents is a form of thought leadership, which, as you can see, allows me to stay in contact with my network and also provides opportunities for me to generate more opportunities, if you will. For example, Coach Andre Smith and Jay Smooth. There's so many opportunities between those two alone. First of all, for example, Coach Andre Smith being an international professional basketball coach, now being a head coach at the only Division I national JUCO or community college in California, and also having a high school preparatory basketball school would really complement JB Smooth in more than one way through either training, education, or revenue opportunities. If those two brands were able to merge and work together, which they will, because Coach Andre Smith is a huge follower of the Hounds and actually has had a chance to watch Jay Smooth play last year. I don't think they actually had a chance to formally meet. So it'd be my intent to make sure they connect intentionally this year and see what comes from it. Two great brands through the thought leadership I'm able to provide right now. Moving on. Flipping the funnel, marketing and the customer experience. An increasingly common practice for marketing, sales, and customer service and experience managers is to flip the funnel into a customer experience funnel. This funnel outlines the process of turning customers into advocates, which in turn refuels the top of the marketing funnel by driving awareness and lead generation. Here's our diagram of the customer experience funnel. Customer experience funnel: repeat, loyalty, referral, advocacy. And what this is a form of referral marketing. One of the most powerful and effective ways to get your word out is by having someone, another person, spread the word for you to their network. And that's powerful because that's a warm market. You have a trusted source, which is the individual advocating, referring other people to your work based on their experience. And when people listen and they trust the source it's coming from, they might give it a shot. And referral marketing is huge. If you're familiar with multi-level marketing or network marketing, you know these million and billion dollar companies actually make money by charging individuals to become members and then holding those individuals accountable to recruit others through the individual members' expenses, if you will, to some degree. And so referral marketing is huge. That's what this customer experience funnel is indirectly advocating. Moving on, the customer experience funnel explained. We've distilled most important stages of the customer. We've distilled the most important stages of the customer experience funnel and explained them below. First one is repeat. After a customer has made a purchase, the next step is to make them repeat make them a repeat customer. This means improving retention and nurturing customers to make more and bigger purchases. Marketers continue bottom of funnel activities to encourage repeat actions by the consumer. Loyalty. This is a long article. I'm talking a lot, so I'm getting winded, y'all. We're wrapping up. Loyalty. In the loyalty stage, customers develop a preference for a brand, beginning to identify with it and personalize products. This is where engagement is key, and marketers can help nurture this personal connection to a brand through community development, engagement, and outreach. Part of my career, I was employed by brands to serve specifically as the title was community engagement specialist. So I have very much so skills in nurturing personal connections, because I was fortunate to work for companies that had a budget and a department for nurturing, and that's what I did. So much so I got so good at it that I ended up branching off and starting a consulting practice where I provide the same nurturing for clients, but I do it under a different tax bracket now, if you will. So I do it under a business where you can come in and I provide that outsourcing for you, or my team will provide that outsourcing for you, and be a community engagement specialist, or which is the outsourcing, or which is consulting, or we can provide advising and education and training on how your team or you yourself can become a better nurturer and build those personal connections. So make sure you reach out to me if you're interested. Moving on, referral. Once a customer is loyal to a brand, they are more likely to provide business referrals, and recommend brand products. Advocacy, as we wrap it up here. Turning your customers into advocates is the ultimate evolution for nurturing current customers. Evangelism in the form of writing product reviews, posting about products on social media, and more can help drive more new leads for your marketing funnel. Having an external recommendation not connected to a brand can strongly influence prospects. Marketers can work to develop their communities to better support advocates, ask them to participate in case studies, or engage them around consumer-generated content on social media. The ultimate goals are to increase number and size of purchases and to drive more awareness and referrals to fuel the marketing funnel. And I want to shout out featured image attribution Yeffy Chin on Unsplash for the imagery. And that concludes our article of review today, our daily insight about how the marketing funnel works from top to bottom. Shout out to the Skyword staff again, skyword.com. Check them out. And my personal feedback, I felt this was a very well thought out article. I don't know if they themselves used artificial intelligence to create the article, but if it was done through a human being, I felt it was broad enough to get a good understanding and detailed enough for all of us to want to do more research, And so this to me was a good article to review so that you can know that there's a funnel, so that you can know how the funnel works, and that you can practice, save time, save money, increase peace of mind by mastering the marketing funnel and also using artificial intelligence for your funnel so that you can get to know more people, increase your base, and ultimately make more money, make more advertisers, make more sponsorships, make more sales, more ticket sales. It's indirectly all the same, but the biggest thing is you're dealing with people. And I'm not the best, but I'm going to use Coach Andre Smith and Jay Smooth as examples. I don't think they'll be, wanting to connect with me and take time out of their day to listen to what I'm saying if we did not have good people skills toward one another. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. So let me know what y'all think about the article. If there's anything I missed, if you have any questions, put it in the comments. Send me a direct message as well, worst case. I thank you for, again, liking, subscribing, sharing this content, hitting the smashing that like bell so that we can get more people introduced to these messages through the algorithms. So outside of that, thank you for, again, following and donating in the amount you felt this message was worth to you by clicking the links in the descriptions around you. Hey, we want to wish you all the best. I want to wish you the best and wish you all success, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.